Hello and welcome to Good Games Spawn Point. I'm Will.
I'm Rad. And I'm Jem. Coming up on the show, we fire up our engines and launch into a review of the space combat game Subdivision Infinity DX.
Oh, and suit up.
We've got a mission to get to.
It's about time. Plus, we find out what Logan from Hardball loves about gaming. And of course, we've got heaps more.
Yeah, in fact, I think I saw Darren researching for his scoop of gaming news.
Researching.
You show him, Clank. You're the real hero. Robot power.
Jem, I'm just trying to lock down your coordinates. The navicomputer seems to be on the fritz again. I'll be with you shortly. Sit tight.
Will? Will! Boring conversation anyway. Well, when trapped in this unknown region of space, why not turn to a digital version of this vast void? Subdivision Infinity DX is a fast-paced space shooter that'll have you blasting across multiple locations and various missions, all the while taking in the visually stunning graphics of space. I, on the other hand, am stuck in a less than impressive part of the galaxy. Will?
Oh, can you read me? Come in.
I've spent most of my life wanting to be in space, fighting the alien menace, and Subdivision offers that in spades. The game boasts a stripped-back control system, steering your ship with the analog stick, banking left and right with the directional keys, and blasting forward with a bit of extra boost. It's a simple control scheme that, once mastered, will have you up there with the best star pilots in the galaxy, especially when you're fighting the... Yeah, there will be a few baddies you come up against. Jem, I'm detecting some trionic wave signatures.
Yep, someone's just popped up on my scanner too. And now combat is the biggest part of this game. Packed on your ship is a standard and secondary weapon, both of which can be swapped out by buying bigger and better ones back at your hangar. You'll be frantically blasting waves of enemies throughout each mission, with some far more challenging than others. Though the real challenge comes from the sheer lack of direction. I had no idea what to do with some of these guys. At least give me some kind of hint.
Yeah, there wasn't exactly a manual for anything outside of flying. In addition to simple wave modes, you'll also be clearing out beacons and portals, but you don't really know that because you're thrust into missions with only a vague understanding of what needs to be done, so you'll more than likely fail them as you crash and explode. I guess this could be down to the more arcadey feeling the game is going for, having you put in a metaphorical coin to go another round, but it did just all feel a little unpolished.
Oh, nice shot! Okay, I see you now. You're just a hop, skip, and a photonic leap away. Now, I know this isn't the main point, but my goodness. I think I'd rather just sit here alone than follow the game's story. So, you're an ace pilot that's enlisted to find some missing scientists, which you do by shooting up ships. All the while making some horrendous one-liners to your stone-cold droid buddy, which do not land, especially just as text. Ugh, I love a good story and some great voice acting, so this was all kinds of hurt to experience.
Yeah, I did try and read out the lines to make them sound a little cooler, but to no avail. You simply cannot make that generic face sound cool. All right, Jem, I'm sending down some supplies. Oh, and suit up.
We've got a mission to get to.
It's about time. This is not what I had in mind. See, even my space puns are bad.
Sorry, but the actual mining isn't any better. Once you've completed the core 5 missions in each zone, you'll unlock 2 exploration maps. Each is a vast open area where you'll be lasering asteroids for minerals within. There's also a few hidden blueprint pickups across the map, which add a little bit of intrigue, but apart from that, these are barely worth playing. And you don't have to, as they don't need to be completed to progress to the next stage, which, mechanically speaking, isn't great.
Yeah, they do feel weirdly tacked on, especially since you will need those unique minerals, as well as gear crates and the coins you collect to buy better weapons and ships, in order to get your arsenal ready for some crazy space battles later in the game. And I'll admit, it is pretty fun trialing different loadouts in combat. Oops, speaking of which, looks like we've got a few friends joining us, Will. This is where the fun begins.
I've got a bad feeling about this, but Subdivision gave me all the good feelings. This game is stunning and runs fairly smooth on the Switch. The vastness of space, the sleek designs of the tech, and rather cinematic visuals had my heart racing. The sound design also goes a long way to immerse you in this otherwise arcadey space shooter. All right, Jem, I think we better wrap this thing up and go home.
Look, I did really enjoy myself blasting through space here, but I just don't feel any real pull to return to this game. Finishing an exhilarating mission just to receive a few ores and some terrible one-liners. It's fun while it lasts, but I'm giving Subdivision Infinity DX 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
It is hard to deny how shallow this game is, but I've been longing for some simple space fun, and there's just enough challenge here to keep me interested, so I'm giving it 4 out of 5 rubber chickens.
All right, where to next?
I say we shoot past Xandar and head on through to Corellia.
Sounds like a plan to me. Firing hyperdrive in
3, 2, 1.
Morning, Australia! It's time for the scoop with me, Darren! As my guest today, you know her as a host of GGSP. It's the only mildly newbie, Jem.
Oh, thanks, Darren. I guess being called only mildly newbie is a compliment coming from you.
Ah, affirmative. Now, dust off those thinking caps you've been keeping in storage for safekeeping. It's time for Darren's Challenge! Who is the character of Kirby named after? Answer at the end of the scoop.
Shall we get stuck into talking about some gaming news, Darren?
We shall. Firstly, a roundup of the announcements from the recent Gamescom convention held in Cologne, Germany. We heard that Kerbal Space Program is getting a sequel, due in 2020. Sony has acquired Insomniac Games, developers of titles such as the original Spyro games and Ratchet & Clank. Some more games have been added to Google's Stadia lineup, like a musical puzzler called Kine. In Nintendo news, Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition will be coming to Switch, along with Cat Quest 2, Nya, and a bunch of other indies like Eastward from the publisher of Stardew Valley, Skate XL, The Tourist, Earth Knight, a quirky 3D puzzle platformer called Europa, and a bunch more. Plus, something that might interest you, Boatmeal. The blobby co-op of Fogs, which is also making its way to Switch.
Wow, games galore, Darren. So exciting.
So much on the horizon. But moving on now to news of a game we won't see for a while because Spelunky 2 has been postponed. The sequel to the tricky platformer Spelunky was originally due to release this year, but the developer says the density and detail of the game are taking a bit more time to reckon with.
If developing Spelunky 2 is as challenging as playing Spelunky, I'm not surprised there are delays.
Affirmative. Permadeath is no joke. In other news, No Man's Sky fans have shown a sign of their gratitude in the form of a literal sign. A bunch of fans crowdfunded the purchase of the billboard outside the UK office of developers Hello Games to thank them for their hard work on the game.
Oh, that would be such a nice thing to see as you walk into work.
It sure would. And now for the extra scoop! What do you have for us, Jem?
Well, Darren, Portal 2 is surely one of the all-time greatest puzzle games. And now some clever folks from YTech 3D have brought the sentry turrets from the game to terrifying life. While it's not the first one we've seen, this full-scale version is almost entirely 3D printed. It can open and close, shoot foam projectiles, or should I say Aperture brand resolution pellets, and can even speak in that creepy robot voice.
The soothing sounds of an Aperture Science robot always makes me feel at home. Now for the answer to Darren's Challenge! Well, originally known as Popopo, everyone's favourite pink blob, Kirby, is said to be named after an American lawyer called John Kirby. John Kirby successfully defended Nintendo in a copyright case in the 80s over Donkey Kong's likeness to King Kong.
I hear John Kirby was also given a sailboat called Donkey Kong in thanks for his work.
Ah, affirmative. The perfect vehicle to travel to DK Island. Now that's all the scoop time we have for today. Until next week, good night, Australia.
What would you name your boat if you had one, Darren?
Maybe SS Noob Blaster? The Newbie 2? Oh, Newbie McNoobface!
Hi, I'm Logan, and this is my gamer life. I live here with my mum, my dad, my sister, and my little dog, Ponyo. I have been a gamer for most of my life. I started around when I was 3 years old, playing some Need for Speed and the racing games. My first game that I started playing was probably Skylanders. That was when I fell in love with gaming. I like video games because there's all different genres of them, and there's a wide variety to choose from. My imagination has definitely grown since I started playing video games. They do have a couple of useful skills like quick thinking and thinking outside of the box. People say that video games rot your brain when they actually help develop your brain. I have multi-mini-clot myopathy. That is my genetic condition, which basically means I have weaker muscles and they are looser than normal muscles, and I'm a lot more flexible than the average person. It helps with my gaming because with being flexible, most of my flexibility is in my hands, and I have fingers that can move in weird, odd ways, so they're really good for moving quickly to hit the buttons. I kind of think it gives me an advantage when I play with my friends. Oh, go. Go. Keep going. Sometimes on the weekends, my friend Jacob from school, he comes over and plays games with me. We love to play Minecraft together and use the command blocks and redstone. We've built a lot of really cool stuff with pistons. We also like to play 1-2 Switch, and sometimes we have goes at other games like Hello Neighbor. When I'm not playing games, I love to do acting. I'm in a TV show Hardball on ABC Me, and that was really fun to film.
If you want to fit in around here, you got to learn how to play handball.
Me and one of the other actors, we both had Nintendo Switches, and so sometimes we would bring them in, and we both had Super Mario Odyssey, so we would hunt for the moons, the power moons. We would always talk about video games, and then if we wanted to play that night. I also like to do a bit of coding. I really like that because it's the other side of the gaming. How you see what the developers see when they look at the video games. I use Scratch, and I love to code the games where there are multiple endings. I have a whole Marvel box full of just Marvel comics. My favorite comic book character would probably be Wolverine. I like him because his real name's Logan, and he has a genetic mutation like me. I have a hat collection, and most of them come from my uncle's dad. Hats kind of tell you a bit about the person that wears the hat. Like if they wear a top hat, they might be a bit of a fancy person, but if they wear a flat cap, they seem like a more chillaxed kind of person. If I could be any video game character, I have two of them. Mine would be Ridley from the Super Metroid series, or Waluigi from Super Mario Brothers. I choose Waluigi because he is quite tall and gangly, and he has a very nice mustache. Hopefully I can grow one. I think with video games, the most special thing about them is how much time and dedication the game developers put into it before and after the game's out to satisfy the fans' needs. My favourite gaming moment would be when I was playing Skylanders Swap Force, and I rushed through it so quickly that in around a week I finished it, and I was so excited because that was the first game that I properly got 100% on.
All right,
right, Rab, we've got more gaming questions here than you can shake a stick at.
Oh, I don't know about that, Will. I think you can shake a stick at any amount of questions. See? Check it out.
Do you just carry that around with you? Look, while you're doing that, let's kick things off with a video question from Connor.
Hi GGSP. What LEGO Speed Champions car is your favourite in the new expansion update for Forza Horizon 4? Hey Darren, do these.
Oh, we better let Darren know we have some things for him.
Hello, hello.
Oh, hey Darren, there are some emoticons for you to do.
Benjamin's Binary. Oh.
Thanks.
Thanks, Darren. Bye.
Oh, you're welcome. Bye.
And thank you for the video, Connor. I'm going to throw this one over to you, Will, since you've played the LEGO Forza Horizon 4 expansion, and I'm going to keep shaking this stick.
Sure thing. Well, Connor, if you're wondering which LEGO Speed Champions car is my personal favourite, actually, one of my main criticisms of the expansion is that there are really only 3 LEGO Speed Champion cars to unlock. There's the LEGO Mini Cooper S, the Ferrari F40, and McLaren Senna. So I guess out of the 3, I'd go with the Mini because I just like the way it looks and it's just the most Lego-y. But I do think it would be great if there were even more to choose from.
Yeah, for sure. And we certainly have lots of questions to choose from, like this one from Laura in Pumpenville.
Pumpenville?
Pumpenville. Pumpenville, that's fun to say. Hi GGSP, why doesn't Minecraft have rats? If you don't answer this question, I will destroy you with my anti-noob laser. Lol, thanks.
Thanks, Laura. In answer to your question about why Minecraft doesn't have rats, well, I have seen some mods and things featuring rats, but other than that, it seems like the developers just haven't added them officially into the game at this point. There are lots of animals already in Minecraft, and so many more they could add, I guess. Everyone probably has an animal they'd like to see officially included. I, for one, would like to see badgers included.
Rats could be cute, though. Think of all the great video game rats and/or mice out there, like Mercurio from Armello, or Rattata and Raticate, the rat-like Pokemon. Tillo the mouse from Ghost of a Tale. Quill from Moss, though I do not like those pesky overcooked rodents that steal your ingredients. I needed that food. Get out of here.
It's okay, Rat, it's okay.
Right, well, we've answered the question, but wait a minute. I thought Darren was the only one with an anti-noob laser. Oh, we better let him know he has some laser competition.
Hello, Darren speaking.
Hi, Darren. We just have a spawnling here who claims they have an anti-noob laser.
I highly doubt it. My lasers are equipped with proprietary hardware.
What?
Patented anti-noob technology. Very top secret. Very exclusive to ruthless noob extermination units like myself. Any attempt to replicate it would surely amount to mere cheap imitation.
But if it does the job of lasering noobs, who's to say it's any worse than your laser, Darren?
Well, we'd have to put them to the test in laboratory conditions to find out. In fact, that actually sounds like fun. Of course, I'd need a couple of noobs to take part in the testing. Any takers?
Well, firstly, we're not noobs, and secondly, we don't want to be your newbie lab rats. Thanks, Darren.
Oh, suit yourselves. There are noobs all around us. I'm sure to find some volunteers. Bye!
I mean, I'm sort of interested to see those results. But moving on now to one final quick question from Andrew. If I have the normal Switch, should I get the Switch Lite? Even though it's cheaper and it can only play handheld, it has a D-pad, but I don't know what I should do. Ooh?
Thanks, Andrew. To answer the question of whether you should consider getting a Switch Lite if you already have the original Switch, well, these kinds of decisions are always best made with your grown-ups. But in my opinion, I don't think there would be much benefit to going towards the Lite if you already have a Switch. That's because the original Switch can already play in handheld mode, portably with the detachable Joy-Cons, or docked with a TV.
That's right, Rad, and while the Lite is slightly cheaper, it's still a pretty expensive purchase. It does come with a slightly extended battery life as well as a D-pad, which I know a lot of players really like and may even prefer to the current Joy-Con button setup. But is it worth getting a whole new gaming device just for a D-pad?
That would make it one expensive D-pad. I see the Lite as more of a replacement for the 3DS, or a possible option for those who don't already have a Switch and only want to play in handheld mode. Keep in mind, new versions of the original Switch model just received a battery life update too.
Yeah, that's a good point. And on that note, we may have run out of Ask SP battery power for today. If you have a question or video for us, you can go here and send it in.
And remember that video questions are in with a chance of scoring some cool GGSP goodies like this beanie here, so get filming.
The GGSP stickers in particular are very cool, aren't they?
Oh, they totally are. Look, I'm gonna stick a sticker on the stick. Double stick! Hello, Will. Would you like a sticker?
Well, that's the end of another show, but next week on GGSP, we check out the new augmented reality LEGO experience, LEGO Hidden Side.
Ah, remember when I went virtual for a while? Oh, that reminds me. I should check on Goose.
You can't leave him all alone in there, Darren.
Do digital clones get lonely? Anyway, if you want to watch some more GGSP right now, jump online and check out our review of the puzzle game, The Tower of Beatrice.
And don't forget to be nice, have fun, and keep gaming. Gem out.
Right out.
Will out.
Darren out. I guess I could make a digital copy of Boat Meal to keep him company.
There's only one good boy, Darren. Only one. It's you.
Oh.